Hey everyone, this is Rob,
Hey, Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape. All right, so this week up on the docket,
Wait, before we start that, happy 100 episodes.
happy 100
We were gonna do something
episodes.
special, and then we kind of forgot it was the 100th episode, so we're not.
Yeah,
Whoops.
we're like, oh, should we set something up? And then we just didn't. So
yeah, we talked about last week after we record 99, and then blinked, and now it's Wednesday again. So
there we go.
Whoops. Maybe
But,
200.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for listening for up to this point, at least if you have been, or if
Almost
you're
2 years doing this.
I know some people said they've been binging it backwards, so if this is your first episode, then welcome to the 100th episode. Hopefully they've gotten better over time and not worse.
Don't even listen to number 1. We tried 2 different mics, and it was weird.
Yeah. We still have a ways to go, but it's nice to have made it this far.
Definitely.
All right, so with that out of the way, back to the docket.
Yes.
So first thing, as always, is we're going to update you with what's been going on with us. We've had quite a lot going on this past week.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll be going into the update for this week, which we actually don't know what it is because
it's coming out Thursday.
Yeah, Jagex said that it's coming out on the 2nd. Today's the 1st.
Good thing we've been recording over 2 days anyway.
Yeah, so we'll probably just do most of our updates and stuff like that today.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the update tomorrow after the intermission, as it were.
Yeah, and in the timestamps, you'll know what they are. Future me will know.
Yeah.
I'll keep you updated there.
Yeah, so if you want to skip just to the update, as always, you can definitely do that down in the description of wherever you listen to this, probably.
Yes. Not always. We only just started this like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, not
but
always.
recently.
Yeah, recently. Especially on YouTube, it's really easy.
Yes.
But yeah, if you listen, I don't know how it works on iTunes, but hopefully they have something like that there.
I just imagine you have to read it and like manually go, and that's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, that's probably because I don't know. I never look at the description of any of my podcasts that I listen to,
Sure,
so
I just
I don't know
listen to
how
them.
it works.
And
but
I skip when needed.
either way, yeah, if you want to maybe search around and hopefully it is there. If not, I'm sorry about that.
If not, whoops.
But yeah, and then we'll be going into a bit of a Q&A. We're actually going to also be covering the mod Q&A that they had last Thursday about the new Wilderness update and all of that stuff, including a lot of Iron Man talk, as well as, loot changes, everything that you'd be interested in for the Wilderness, and a bit of our own Q&A as well to finish it off as per usual.
Yep, and potentially a revised docket in the middle of this if there's tons of new stuff to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, potentially. Hopefully, potentially, probably not.
Yeah.
But either way, so before we get into any of that, though, everyone, let's ask Michelle.
Everyone, let's ask her.
Let's all ask her in one group question.
Everyone on 3. 1, 2, 3.
So how's it going?
Okay, I thought you were going to say it. And I was like, Robert, I literally, now you're embarrassing them. They're saying it, and they're alone.
All right, I'm sure some people hate this, so let's get on to it.
I'm good. So I've been doing the bingo that I mentioned last week, and it's going well. We're in the lead so far.
Yeah, did you mention that last week?
I did mention it last week.
Oh, yeah, she's been going into it's bingo, but for anyone that wasn't here, it's kind of like bingo, but not really. You draw 5 cards at a time, and everyone in your group can do any of those 5 cards, whether
we can only go for 5 things at a time until we get one of those and draw a new card, and we only get 15 cards. We can only turn in 15 cards total at the end.
Yeah, and they scale from easy to hard, so ideally you do 15 elite tasks, but they are pretty difficult, such as getting specific purples from raids.
We have 2 elite ones that we've had, one of them we've literally had since day 1, and we still can't finish it. It's to get a Fang. We still haven't gotten that.
You have to very much specify it's an Esmumton's Fang because there's multiple Fangs in the game.
We've actually gotten other Fangs. We had to get Magic Fang. We got that. The hards are not too bad, but the elites we're stuck on. We didn't draw any Grandmaster because that's terrifying.
Yeah, some of them are really, really long, and some of them can also be very, very short. So she's still working on that, and they have until Sunday to complete it. So by the time you hear the next podcast, you'll see how they go. So far, they're in the lead, though, I think.
Yeah, so far, second place is in first place.
Yes.
But people are catching up.
The name of their team is second place.
Yeah. But I can't really work on it while we record. So another extra thing in the bingo, the 15 cards, is that if you get pets or jars, it's an extra 3 points. And I'm actually overdue for a Kraken jar, so I'm just working on Cave Kraken while we record because I don't even have to look at the screen.
Yeah.
And really, really hoping I get lucky and get a jar while I'm here because I've only gotten the first drop and nothing else has been in my name.
Yeah, so hopefully you get lucky.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I haven't been there. I've been there for plenty of the drops, but I want my name.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if you got, a pet or your name.
Yeah.
Or
I
a
mean,
pet or your name. A
yeah, I
pet
know
or
what
a
you
jar in
mean.
your name.
Yeah, I've been there for a lot of the drops, but I'd like another one in my name other than just the only medium we've had has been in my name.
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
want a hard one. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, honestly. I've never done a bingo before, and I know this isn't like a traditional bingo, but I'm having so much fun with it. It's making me like want to do stuff way more.
Yeah, like you're enjoying it more than you thought.
Exactly. And like yesterday, we're still working on this. We have to get a staff of the dead from Krill. So we were at Zammy for literally like several hours yesterday. And it's kind of nice that it like sends you back to places like the God War dungeon, even though it was kind of annoying because we kept like it was me, ST Takedown and Arc Rain were there, and they total saw 3 Zamorakian spears, which are usually a great drop, but we were just like, ugh.
Yeah, that's actually pretty much the only good drop that he has.
Yeah, I think that Staff of the Dead's about the same price, but Staff of the Dead's 1 out of 500.
Maybe it is now, but I remember it used to be like 2 or 3 times the price. So I don't
Oh no,
know.
Zamorakian spears down to 5 mil right now.
Oh yeah, I
It's
remember.
gone
I
down.
remember it used to be at least like 12 mil, but yeah, I mean obviously
I think whenever I bought it, it
went
was like
down
that.
quite a bit. Yeah,
But I need to ask them too, because they said we were gonna do splits, but then I went to go eat dinner, so I'm like, hey,
maybe they did split
where's that?
between the two of
I
them.
know. But yeah, the bingo has been super, super fun. I really hope that we win just because that'd be a really cool first bingo experience to win. I'm lucky that we have some very like hardcore gamers on our team.
Yeah,
But it's unfortunate because the other elite that we're going for is the Ring of Endurance from Sepulcher, which you can literally only get in the final room. And
yeah,
only 3 people on our team even have access to the room.
yeah. You have to be 92 agility in order to do
Yeah.
the fifth level of Sepulcher.
So 3 people could do it. One person doesn't really know how to do it efficiently, so now we're down to 2. One person just got 99 literally this week while trying to grind it out. Did not get the ring, so now they've just given up because they've got like 2 mil agility XP just like in the past few weeks.
Yeah,
So we have one person going for that one.
yeah.
We
Some
might
of
have to
them-
give that card up. We have like one more sacrifice a card for a new card.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, so hopefully you get done with all the ones that you get.
Yeah, I hope so. I ran a solo raid before we started recording, and no luck, never lucky.
Never lucky. Never solo Fang or solo staff or solo pet.
But speaking of never lucky, I did get some splits this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. You got a lot of them actually.
Yeah, I saw 3 splits that I wrote down. I also was there for someone getting a ward, but I think that there was 8 of us, so we didn't even split because it wouldn't have been a mil each.
Yeah.
So I was there when someone got a mask. That was an easy 4 mil per person. Not too shabby.
Pretty cheap.
I mean, I was really hype about it until we got the big boy drop.
So you were excited until you were more excited, and then that made you less excited?
I'm still excited about that because 4 mil's 4 mil, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sacred Relic pulled a staff in the raid I was in.
Yeah, so Michelle got her first ever staff of Tumikin.
But
Tumikin
not
Shadow.
mine, but the first time ever seeing one.
Yeah.
So exciting, and there was 5 of us, and we got 279 mil each.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's funny because someone in the chat was like, "Oh, there's 5 of you, so that's like 200 mil each," and I was like so hype, and then to find out that they were wrong and it was like an extra 79 mil, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I feel like they were disregarding the other 300 to 400 mil that it usually sells
who even
over.
who
a
even
bill.
counts that part?
I know.
Really?
I was like, when I know it's a 0.4 in addition to the 1 billion, but the 0.4 is still a lot.
It's significant. It's like almost 50% more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got a back to back with a Masori body, and that was another 31 mil. So just that night, I made like 310 mil in splits.
So pretty good.
It was amazing. It made my cash stack 600 mil. Also, even crazier, that was Sacred Relic's 3rd staff and only like 144 experts.
Yeah. So they're getting really lucky.
Yeah, they've seen 2 solo staffs, so that was nuts. And using that as content, we made our first YouTube short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like it. Robert, I made it. Robert was like, "Oh my god, what'd you make?" And he took over and made something much better.
Yeah, so Michelle is
I'm
still
not much of an editor,
She's
okay?
still pretty amateur when it comes to editing, and her creativity is just
Low.
not quite dialed in as I will
I'm
say.
not a very creative person, and I know it.
Yeah, she's not.
But yeah, it's really good. Go check it out on our YouTube. And when you're on our YouTube, you're also going to see that we have a new video out.
Yeah, so we have been sticking to our word, surprisingly so, and actually,
This video was not planned. This is not the one that I've been working on. This was like a last second thing.
yeah, so we've actually been putting out like actually twice as much content technically than we normally do.
Yeah, so the video is just like it's a stream highlight of whenever I went to the wilderness boss rework area.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little bit of that. It's not like the most exciting thing because
Yeah, it's
I
definitely
got
not
PK'd like 3 times.
definitely not the best video, but it's better
It's
than
something,
nothing, I
yeah.
guess,
And
so
I'm still
far.
really excited for us that we actually did it.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think we would. And you said 2 times as much content as normal. Actually, 3 times as much because I made a TikTok and I posted something on there too.
Yeah.
It's Bunebape OSRS. The YouTube short's also on there, but I couldn't post the TikTok on YouTube because it's playing a song in it.
Unfortunate.
But I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked
thought it
my
was
little
okay.
TikTok. Hey, I also posted on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
People said they laughed.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Follow me on TikTok. I
Sure.
have like 9 followers. I'm pretty famous at this point.
Pretty much a TikTok legend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I hopefully we'll make more shorts. I don't think any of them will be as exciting as that one. But we'll see. We'll see. Like whenever I get small gains in the game, maybe we'll just make shorts of it. And yeah, that was really cool. It got like 600 views too, which is hype. It made us a whole 1 cent. I was warned that shorts don't make you a lot of money, but it is still kind of shocking to be like, dang, 1 penny.
Yeah, still it's nice because it got like more views than like we usually do, and like
It brought us
half a month.
subscribers to the channel too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
That's
was pretty
pretty cool.
happy about that. But yeah, it's been like a really, really good week.
Yeah,
We're having
so
fun.
I don't know if people usually listen to the podcast also listen to our other stuff, but if you also listen to other stuff, then yeah, I guess that's cool for you too, because then you have more stuff to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And we are still working on more things too. The video idea I was talking about last week, I'm nearly done with like the main footage for it. I just have to figure out how I'm going to do it for the video. Like if I'm going to be in it, how I'm going to be talking about it. You'll see.
Yeah.
I hope that will be out by next week's podcast episode because that one's going to be an actual video, so it's going to take a lot longer to edit and stuff.
Yeah, hopefully that'd be really nice.
Yeah, Robert can use his editing abilities in more than a 20-second video if you want to make it cool.
It was 31 seconds, and
First of all,
and I made the other video as well.
that's true, but you didn't get to do too much because it was just a stream thing.
Yeah.
He did mention too. He's like, if you think that you're gonna make a video out of something, you need to hype it up more in the footage.
Yeah, she died, and it was pretty much as if she had just sipped like a sip of water. Like it was the most boring thing to watch.
He made it more exciting.
Yeah, but either way.
So I think that in actual video, I will be trying to sound exciting. We'll see.
Yeah. Besides that, though, what else? What else happened?
In game, I don't really know if anything in game happened, but in real life, we thought we were gonna die the other day. Our carbon monoxide alarm detector thing went off.
Yeah, I guess this is an update.
Okay, I think that this was funny because we had to call the fire department, and let me tell you guys, it's the most embarrassing thing in the world to live in front of like so many apartments. So many people live here, and the fire department drives by, and you have to wave at them and be like, "Hey guys!" Like alarms blaring and everything. That was embarrassing.
All right, yeah. So it is not embarrassing. Michelle thinks that anytime someone looks at her in any way, it's embarrassing. But yeah, for anyone,
that's why I want to get eloped if we get married.
Okay. So yeah, for anyone that ever calls the emergency services, it is not embarrassing, and you should not be concerned to call them. But
He was afraid we were gonna get fined.
yeah, because calling an ambulance does cost money.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know why fire department wouldn't, but I guess they don't.
Thank God. Otherwise, we would have just, put up with the beeping or died.
Yeah.
We just needed a new alarm.
Yeah, unfortunate. I don't know if anyone doesn't know about carbon monoxide, but you should have one either built into your fire
A
alarm
detector.
or like separate. Ours is separate, and it's because carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas
That can kill you.
Yeah, if you breathe too much of it, you'll die.
Yeah, which was really fun to know while I'm just playing RuneScape and I hear a loud beeping noise. And I'm like, what's that? Robert was asleep, and because we listen to little rain noises, he couldn't even hear it. And I was like, oh my God, if we were both asleep and it was actually going off, we would have just died.
Yeah, I mean, at least we wouldn't know.
That's true. It wouldn't be the worst way.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter to us.
But yeah, make sure your batteries are good for your carbon monoxide detectors, everyone.
Yeah,
That was
also
kinda
make sure you
scary.
have one.
Make sure you have one too. I know California legally they have to have it in like apartments at least.
Yeah, a lot of places you do.
Yeah, but some places like seemingly don't care.
Yeah.
But anyway, what have you been up to?
I have not been up to getting that much money in comparison, but I have done quite a few things, which is nice because I actually got not a huge achievement, but it is nice to say that now I can say that I have 50 bases for all of my skills.
Hey.
So that's kind of cool. The last one was construction, which I didn't really even plan on getting, but I saw that it was like 44, and I was like, it's kind
Might
of
as well.
it's kind of annoying that it's so low. So I got it to 50.
I'm surprised construction's your lowest because I know it's different on iron, obviously, but on your main, that's like something you trained the fastest.
To be fair, I have trained or I have stock or
Oh, you're prepping for it.
I have banked quite a lot for it,
Mm-hmm.
but not a ton. I still have to make all the planks, and I have a lot of the wood, but I still need to make all the planks, which I'm like kind of waiting to see if I want to wait until I have lunar diplomacy done and all the runes so I can do plank make,
Yeah.
which is obviously quite a bit easier than having to run back and forth between the bank and the plank and all that stuff.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so I've kind of been waiting, but I've been setting up for it. But luckily, I didn't need teak planks. I already have a bunch of oak planks, so I was able to use that for mahogany homes, which is the way I leveled up.
What do you
And
think of Mahogany Homes?
yeah, that was the first time I've ever done it, and it's pretty cool. It's really really easy.
Is it
It's
really iron friendly?
it is very iron friendly. It's
That's
it's a
good.
lot like Giant's Foundry in where it's like
Bring your own supplies.
it takes longer and it's a little bit more tedious, but you also make whatever materials you have go a really long way as far as XP goes.
Well, that's good.
Like for instance, I was getting around like 60k XP an hour, which is pretty good considering I only have 80k total.
Oh, wait, what? That's actually huge then.
Yeah, so it was it was definitely a lot of XP compared to like doing chairs or something like that.
Yeah.
But
It's not no oak done doors, though.
no, definitely wasn't oak done doors, but it was definitely a pretty good experience. I was getting around 1200 for each completion, and the coolest part, so you get experience for each thing that you do, and then also the completion. Very very similar to how like I said how Giant's Foundry is.
Hmm.
And then what's really cool, also similar to Giant's Foundry, is whenever you're done, the person that you fix their house for asks if you want a cup of tea. And then
Okay.
if you get it, then it fills your run completely.
Oh, that's cool because you're kind
Yeah.
of running around a lot, right?
Because after every one, or if you're lucky, every two houses, you have to go back and either get more steel bars or more planks. And so it
Oh,
was,
so that's a nice little extra thing they do.
yeah, so it was really nice. It allows you to run to the bank right after, or you can teleport and then run to the bank before your next one. And it's cool because each of the towns you go to have their own mahogany home vendor person. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't have to keep going back to Falador where I think the main one was. So
Thank
it's
God.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Overall, I had a pretty good experience, and I'd recommend mahogany homes to most people to at least try it. And if anything, you can get the there are rewards like you
The
can.
outfit. There's a plank sack, too.
Yeah,
That must
I'm
be really good.
certainly not recommending getting the outfit. It would take practically forever to unlock it.
Yeah, that'll
But
just be a green log thing someday.
yeah, absolutely. But they do have the plank sack, which, like you said, is very useful. I also found out recently, for anyone that has the plank sack, you might not know that apparently the planks you put into the sack automatically get pulled out whenever you're doing construction.
Okay, that's really nice.
Yeah, which is also something that got me thinking, why the heck is rune crafting or rune pouches not like that?
True.
Like the essence pouches.
Seems like a quality of life thing.
Yeah, like that's it. I mean, one of the most annoying parts is like having to like shift click all your pouches to empty them and then click on the altar again.
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't
And then
they
you
just
find out later you actually didn't empty one. You skipped
Yeah.
over it on accident.
yeah, so you just wasted your time. So yeah, I don't know. They should maybe think about pulling that. I think that'd be nice quality of life.
I
But
agree. That'd be a good one.
I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that
Too
sucks."
easy, bro.
But yeah, I was just thinking that'd be really cool because I really liked that part of the plank sack. But or finding out that about the
Oh,
plank
I was
sack.
gonna be like, wait, you already have it?
No, I need quite a few more points. You only get like, at least for the level I'm doing, you only get like 3 to 5 points per house you're doing. So I only have like 60 total.
Okay. Yeah, I figure it's pretty expensive to get plank make.
Yeah, I think you need like you mean the plank sack. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think I only need like another 300 points. So if I did this for a few hours, I'd have the plank sack,
Nice.
which is not too bad. And it's nice because you actually don't even need nails for
Oh,
mahogany
really?
homes. I thought you would, but
Nails
you
are
don't
kind of
need
annoying, so that's nice.
you don't need nails at all. You just need steel bars in order to fix like some of like the sinks and stuff like that.
It's actually pretty surprising.
Yeah. And even then, it's still not super common to use, which is nice because I have like 4,000 iron whenever I was power mining. So I have plenty of steel that I can make.
Yeah.
which is really really cool. So overall, I really liked it. I'd recommend it again. Something that I didn't think I would end up liking, that I did end up liking, and I think mostly again because I am Iron Man. So
Definitely helps.
yeah, that definitely makes it a bit more worthwhile.
I mean, it's something that I plan on doing on my main account, really.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. And also I heard that with Teaks it goes up quite a bit in experience to like a little over 100k an hour, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I'll be doing on the main.
And then other people have told me, and apparently this is like multiple people have told me this, but if you are doing the maximum level, which is mahogany, obviously mahogany homes,
Oh,
you have
I
to have
never even thought about that.
you have to have 70 construction and use mahogany planks. But if you are doing that with proper teleports and stuff like that, then you can make around over 200,000 experience an hour,
Wait,
which
that's
is
really nice.
it's really comparable to hanging
Myth capes.
to hanging myth capes, which is what I was thinking of doing. So I might end up actually doing that to 84, which would be
As high as you want to get.
as high as I'd want to get for a really long time. But I mean, I say that, but also the 99 cape for construction is kind of insane.
It's huge, right? Because it tells you home, or does it only tell you home?
Yeah, it gives you a free home teleport to any of the houses.
That's it. I was like, I feel like it's more than just the one telly.
Yeah.
Also,
so,
sorry, we're having my keyboard's being weird in the background.
Yeah, so it allows you a free teleport to any of the places that you could have a house.
Kind of massive.
Yeah, which is really really big because my house is in Hosidius right now. But yeah, so I think overall I really liked it, and again would recommend it. But
Yeah, I would just want to do it also for the green logging because it's kind of satisfying green logging stuff.
yeah, again, it's kind of like Giant's Foundry in that it would take you a really long time to green log it because the outfit is very expensive.
Oh, definitely.
Like several like 1,000 points, and it just takes a while. But besides that, I also got I was gonna say I got the Chinchompa pet. No,
Oh my god, I wish.
I actually got a bunch of. I got to 1550 total level, which is nice.
Oh, GZ.
Yeah, so I actually did quite a bit of Chinchompa-ing. I got 1,000 regular Chinchompas, and then I almost have 1,000 red Chinchompas now, which got me from I think like 54 or 53 hunter all the way up to almost 70.
Are you serious? I didn't know you got that high.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I got quite a few Chinchompas, which is pretty cool. There's so many other people or slash bots in all these spots that it's crazy. I was thinking about just staying at regular Chinchompas because there's no one there.
Are you gonna go to Black Chinchompas once they're unlocked?
No, I probably won't. One thing though that I have been thinking about, which I never thought I would be thinking about until I started playing an Iron Man, and also this update came out, the one last week, is that I've been considering going to, well, two things. I've been considering going to the Wilderness Slayer boss, or Wilderness Slayer Master, and on top of that, spending time at the Revenants. So,
for why?
One, they have really good drops in general. Just in general, like good drops that I could either high elk or stuff like that.
And they drop Ether if you ever want to get one of those weapons.
Yeah, and if I ever get one of those weapons, that'd be really nice. And it's just really good for GP. They drop dragon armor and stuff like that, which would be an upgrade for me.
I tried out the new bow actually.
Oh yeah, you did?
Yeah, dating let me borrow it. The new one, yeah. The Bloodletter. That's its fake name.
No, that's you're talking about the Venator bow.
Oh, what am I? I don't know. I tried the one that shoots multiple things, I think.
Oh, then was it the purple Venator bow?
It might have been. Or is it the Web Weaver? How many new bows are there?
I mean, there's only two. Well, there's really only one, which is the Web Weaver.
Okay, well, I tried one that's worth 30 mil, and it's for the Wildy, and it was pretty nice.
Okay, well, yeah, there's only one for the Wildy, so it's definitely the Web Weaver bow.
That one, sorry.
Yeah, the other one is...
Why am I tripping right now? Where's the other one from?
The other one's from Muspa.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I didn't use that. Never mind.
Yeah,
I used the Wilderness one.
They're very distinct bows.
I already forgot about Muspa.
One's entirely purple.
I completely forgot about Muspa already. Yeah, I used the Web Weaver one. It was pretty cool. Okay. I used it and tried to kill Chaos Ellie a couple of times. It was pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, so I was thinking about trying that, but that being said, I don't know, because one, I'm kind of new. Two, I don't know what kind of setup I'd bring. I was like, maybe I'll just bring like green D-hide because I can buy that.
Yeah.
And then like a U bow or something.
Honestly, yeah. And then if you die, you'll either die with your loot or you'll just lose your D-hide, your green D-hide. Yeah. Or you'll just have to run back into your gear that you don't lose.
And I have, the what's it called, the Ring of Dueling. So I'd have a teleport out. Obviously, it wouldn't be one click, but it'd be still a teleport out,
Do you
which would be
have to
fine.
finish Monkey Madness 2 to get the King
Yeah,
Pod thing?
yeah,
Oh,
to
okay.
get the Royal Seed Pod, yeah, you do.
The
But
King
the
Pod.
King Pod, yeah, no, I do not have that unlocked yet, but I almost do. That's actually why I'm getting my Hunter up so high. I need 70 for Monkey Madness 2.
You want to do it soon?
Yeah, I mean, I wanna have the requisites for everything, so I just
Mm-hmm.
need. And funny enough, yeah, just because of the quest requirements is the only reason that I want to get my Hunter to 70. But I also, besides that, only need Magic and what's the other thing? Magic and Slayer, and then I actually have all of the quest requirements in the game.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wait, you're so close.
yeah, it's pretty
It's
cool.
huge.
I
I
only
mean, I
need.
guess maybe you don't have the suggested recommended combat that some people would say, but
I mean, I don't think there's anything that requires or suggests higher than 92 combat.
I would suggest higher.
Yeah, I think maybe entry level
Personal.
Theater of Blood is probably like recommended 95, or I think it's technically 85, but I'd say
I was thinking
95.
Sins of the Father. God, that was such a pain.
Sins of the Father, yeah, I don't think that's too bad, but either way, yeah, I'm not really worried about it. I think I have most of the requirements, which is really really nice.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think that's about it for updates for me. But before we do get into the actual update for the game, because well, we don't necessarily have it. I
Where
have
future us gets us into the update.
Yeah, I have actually prepared a couple like interesting talking points that I saw kind of come up in the community and
Oh
actually
yeah.
got a little bit of traction. So the first one was going to be about leagues, actually. So
Interesting.
obviously they said that we aren't going to be having leagues for quite some time,
Wah,
probably
wah,
not the rest of this year at
wah.
all.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sad, and a lot of people really look forward to it. And while we didn't, participate hugely,
Whenever we first did it, we were really enjoying it.
yeah, I was about to say, I think we still had a really good time.
Definitely. I would do it again.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So, but with that in mind, I was wondering, do you think a Leagues 3, Leagues 2 or any of the other leagues really rerun this year would be a worthwhile thing to do in lieu of a new league?
I'm torn because I did see people actually talking about this. People talked about that a lot last year.
Yeah.
Whenever they first said they weren't working on any leagues, they were like, just do a redo of one. I don't really see the point in doing a redo, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, this is like what I say. For me, the cool part of the leagues was knowing that at the end there would be cool, new, unique rewards and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you do a redo, there's not really anything new. I don't know.
There's not anything new, but if you think about it, we didn't really participate in leagues 1 or 2.
That's true. I would
So,
do 1 or 2 just because I didn't participate. And I still am finding stuff from the Trailblazer like kits. Like the other day, I just found out that there was an axe one. I didn't even know.
yeah, like I think it wouldn't be far off saying that most people didn't participate in Twisted League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool to go back and I mean, they could even change up the rewards as well.
Yeah, for
Like,
selfish reasons, I'd do one of the ones I haven't done. But Shattered Relics, I wouldn't do again just because I'd already done
yeah.
it.
I mean, Twisted League wasn't like super crazy as far as I remember.
That's the one that I think I was going to do it for a day and I didn't get it. So I just went back to my main account.
Yeah, but I think that some of the rewards were some of the coolest rewards. I mean, Twisted Horns I think were really really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They were selling for so many million when they first came out. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. I don't know if I would necessarily, play it a lot, but I think the concept of like a rerun that like maybe they could even like put like even less effort into it than normal. I don't know how they would, but to make it like financially feasible for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if people would think that it was kind of like lame that they were just doing a rerun and not getting an actual new league.
I don't know. I mean, people are going to complain regardless.
Yeah, of course.
People will complain saying, we want to do a redo. And then if you do the redo, they're like, well, you didn't even put any effort into this redo.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I was like, maybe they'd have to redo some of the rewards as well so that people felt it was more worthwhile.
yeah. I think that most people interested would be, I mean, people who are chasing the trophies, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And then people like us who just didn't have a chance to do it in the first place. And now it's like, our time to shine.
Yeah. No, yeah, I could see that. I was just wanted to bring it up because I saw a lot of people thinking about like why they don't or what if they did. And yeah, just wanted to see what you thought. And also, if anyone else, has any thoughts about that, let us know as well.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. I don't know if they actually would. I mean, I saw people like tweeting at Mod Ash all throughout the year asking him about this, but I
Yeah.
cannot remember if he said it's something that they'd be interested in doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people at least wanted to bring it up. I'm not sure if they'd be really interested in it. But that also kind of leads me to my next point, which I thought would be kind of interesting to like not necessarily take a look back, but kind of compare because speaking of leagues, that actually was at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, it's been
It
a
was in
year.
January.
Wow. Yeah, we're
So,
looking at the list right now, and it was February 3rd that they extended it. Wow, that's kind of crazy.
yeah, so it's been almost a year to the date, you know. So it's been quite pretty much exactly a year. So I was like, maybe it'd be a good time to bring it up and whether we should have, another one. Maybe not now, obviously, but sometime this year.
I mean, they could the redo. It doesn't even have to be for me either. Like some people would just like that. It would just give people something fun to do, and I think it also every league I'm pretty sure brings people to the game.
Yeah.
So it'd be a good way to bring more people to play the game.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess continuing on that point, what do you think of the year so far? It's only been, a little more than a month now. But what do you think in comparison for anyone that
Um,
doesn't remember last year we had just come off the heels of Next, which was at the very beginning of January. So we got a brand new big boss.
Next, and they had League going on, and they had announced Guardians of the Rift, so we had things to look forward to.
Yeah, and early February they came out with Land of the Goblins as well. So I mean, if you compare it, one
Okay,
to one, we got some new
we got
bosses.
Muspa.
Yeah, so we got Muspa, which is a new boss,
We
and then
got the Wilderness boss
we got the
rework.
Wilderness boss rework, which I mean is kind of like a point 0.5 of a new boss for me because obviously it's the same bosses again but different.
And with Muspa came kind of like their version of Land of the Goblins, something that will lead up to Desert Treasure too.
Yeah,
I think it's about the same.
but it doesn't have leagues.
It doesn't have
So
leagues. That's
they
true.
have similar bosses, or they have a little bit more bosses this year with the Wilderness rework, but obviously no leagues,
We don't
which
have
is
a
kind
big
of
community event going on.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be direct 1-to-1 off the first month,
Of
but
course.
it kind of like always. I kind of wanted to keep up on what they're coming out with because I think over the years it seems like they've been coming out with less and less content. So I
Hmm.
kind of wanted to take a
It's
look
true.
at
If
it.
you look back to forever ago, they used to be like every month a huge quest.
Yeah, even if it wasn't a huge quest, it'd be at least a quest
Yeah.
or something like that. But
Some people hate questing, so they're probably happy about that. But I like questing and I like exploring the lore, so I wish there was more.
yeah, it's cool because I mean they came out with Muspel obviously, which is a decent enough boss, fairly intricate, but I mean the drops, while they are worth decent money, like actually that's like kind of a problem right now is they're worth too much money.
I honestly forgot Muspa was even a thing.
But yeah, exactly, he's forgettable. He doesn't drop anything that you go for. Like
The pet's really nice though.
yeah,
It's definitely a very cool pet. But like, I haven't gone back since it came out.
yeah.
I'll go back someday.
Unless you want to get the Venator bow or buff up your ancient staff, there's really no reason to go there.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, like you said, he's kind of just a forgettable boss. Which I mean, to be fair, it's hard to compare to Next because Next is obviously one of the biggest bosses ever released
Next
in
is
old
just
school.
Next was not even supposed to be comparable to Muspa.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. But if we're looking at it year on year, then it's hard not to compare big boss releases with big boss releases. But
That's very true.
yeah, it's unfortunate because it's not like
I think
Muspa
it's
was.
still good money makers. It's just I think that no one that we really know is doing it because everyone we know is like working on raids.
Yeah,
So it makes it harder because we don't really know what's going on in the community other than
yeah.
outside of our
And then
little Bunebape.
I was thinking about how, like, if we are comparing year on year, I don't know how we're going to be able to compare this year to last year as far as raids go because
Oh yeah, no,
obviously,
exactly. You can't compare.
yeah, which is unfortunate because if you think about it, we're not getting raids and we're not getting leagues and we're not getting Deadman probably this
True.
year.
Last year was just a huge year.
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate because maybe I mean that's kind of how it goes where you get like lull years, but
Yeah.
it just feels bad because it's a whole year of like the same content.
Someone was talking in the chat saying how they wish that there was a raid every year. I know a lot
Yeah,
of people wouldn't like that, but I think it would be fun.
I wish there was like bigger content, like reliably, like
Hmm.
maybe not next level, but like a significant boss.
I think the thing that makes it hard to answer is because you have to think about the like economy implications. And I'm just thinking for fun, it would be really cool to have like raids every year. just
Yeah.
to have new raids to do.
I'm
Without
it's
thinking of what drops they'd have and like how that would impact the GE and stuff.
I agree.
Just on the fun level, that would be fun.
It it's really unfortunate because it's like twofold where like as I, you know, become more Iron Man and less main, and then also as, time goes by, it seems like the economy just gets worse and worse.
I thankfully don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, just because I mean we were talking about this I mean just a second ago with the Zamorakian spear. Like
Oh yeah, how it's lowered in price.
obviously it's a really good item, one of the best weapons in the game for what it does, and also it builds into
Hosta.
the Hosta, which builds into the Dragonlance.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so I
funny.
mean it's a really good item, but
Damn, you have
it's
to do a lot to get the Dragonire Lance.
yeah, it used to be expensive, but obviously not anymore. And if we take a look at like, speaking of the economy getting like ruined by new content, like look at the recent prices for all the runes. I
They've gone
mean,
down, right?
yeah, like
Good for me. I've been stocking up.
blood runes and nature runes are almost, if not already, below the alch value. I don't know how that even works. Like you can really, literally right now, you can go and buy nature runes and alch them for money.
I think that over time, there's no way to add new stuff to the game while also keeping the economy exactly the same as now. And I'd rather sacrifice stuff being worth less than still getting fun new things.
Yeah,
Like if they told us like there would never be another raid ever again because they don't want the economy to change, I'd be like, dang, not even like in a couple of years.
yeah. It's like a weird spot where it's like I know that the longer a game is out, the more likely things will be devalued. But I think that in combination with, the botting issue that seems to be like actually getting worse somehow. It just I don't know. It's like worse than I would have anticipated.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish they could just. I'm glad I'm an Iron Man, and I wish they could just come out with content that, like you said, just the loot doesn't matter, but it's kind of not really possible.
The way I think of it is just like it's easy now to be like, yeah, well, like Tia weighs out, chambers out all of these, and we don't need to change anything because they're all out. But like eventually, you're gonna get tired of them.
Yeah,
Eventually, you must, and you'll want to try something new. I haven't yet. I'm still really enjoying them, but I know that future me is gonna be like, oh, I need more.
yeah. I mean, they'll definitely have to come out with new stuff like, all the time, but yeah, I don't know how they balance it. It's a pretty tough situation for them, especially because yeah, they seemingly either aren't getting the support or don't care about bots, which is a really big deal.
I imagine it's that they're not getting support.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
have,
I feel like we have to like think like that, or we're just thinking that. The counter to that, if you're not thinking like that, it's just that you're thinking the mods don't care.
yeah. I think that they get paid to do stuff, and they're probably told what to do.
Yeah,
And that's probably not what they're told to deal with.
yeah.
Isn't there like a designated like people who do that, like deals
Uh,
bots? I'm pretty sure there
no,
is.
I mean, yeah, of course there is. There should be a bot prevention team, or
Mhm.
part of their security team. But yeah, I don't know because there was
I know it's not Modash.
those massive like bot ban waves however long ago, and then since then it seems like they haven't banned a single bot because I see them everywhere.
That's honestly funny.
And also, I mean, even if they aren't bots, they keep adding stuff like Guardians of the Rift that just floods the market with so many of these runes that makes it like impossible to keep up with demand and stuff like that.
At least stuff like that does make it easier for Iron, though,
Absolutely, yeah.
or more fun for Iron.
Like I said, for an Iron, I can't complain. Also, it's really relieving playing an Iron because then you get to. I think someone else in the Iron subreddit made like a really good point. It's
Mhm.
like you're not playing Goldscape anymore, where it's like
True, you're not just like me trying to get money to save for a shadow.
yeah, where it really just goes from like oh I need a bill so I can get this item. Instead, it's like oh I need to like farm this content.
I need to do some chambers to get Tebow.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like really really different, and also it's cool like taking a step back and not being so overpowered because I still don't have a glory, and I'm not even close to getting a glory.
That's
and
hilarious.
that's something I could buy for like 12K at
Exactly.
like level 0 in the game, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I think so far we're doing okay this year. Obviously not as good, but it's a tough comparison. So
Definitely. So far, so good. But it seems like later in the year is gonna be when all the big stuff happens. The new
Yeah,
skill will be like the raid of last year.
absolutely. Yeah, I think the new skill, fingers crossed, if it comes out this year, that in combination with the 4 new desert treasure bosses.
And Desert Treasure as the quest.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely give this year or last year, 2022, a run for its money. But it'll be interesting to see how close it comes.
Yeah, it'd probably be pretty close.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get worse.
Oh no, I'm not worried about that too much. Also, it's gonna be the 10th birthday event soon.
Yeah,
Last year it was on February 16th, so in a couple weeks probably.
yeah. February 16th.
Nice. I bet they're gonna have some cool stuff. Yeah, well, I don't know. I bet they're gonna have some cool rewards for the 10th.
Yeah, hopefully.
Some cute little outfits.
Yeah, that'd be really
I
cool.
love the holiday events. I think they're so fun.
But yeah, I mostly wanted to bring this up so I can put a super clickbait title like, is RuneScape getting worse? Question mark.
Future me, name it that 100%.
But no, I just thought it was cool. When I'm sure in a few months I'll come back and take a look again and see how we are, especially whenever there are bigger releases like DT2 or something like that.
Because you're an Iron now. I saw something. It was just like one person saying this online. It might have been on Reddit or Twitter. I don't remember. And it was just somebody basically saying like, "Stop saying you're doing stuff to help Irons. We don't need handouts."
Yeah, that's kind of along the lines of something we'll touch on later, which is going to be the poll blog, or we can even start on that now.
Yeah, let's start right now.
So for anyone that doesn't remember, obviously last week there was a bit of a poll blog, a 20 or 78 poll blog is what it was, and
The quality of life one, right?
quality of life, yeah. And so that one finished up, and we actually got the results, everything except for just a few things passed. And one of the things in there that was pretty, surprisingly divisive, was the special attack in the wilderness. And
Well, because that didn't even pass last time. The first time they pulled
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. A lot of these were near misses, but the reason and I saw a lot of people sharing the sentiment in, I mean, obviously in different places, but a lot on Reddit. So take it with a grain of salt. But a lot of people were saying that, like from the PvP community, that a lot of PVMers seemingly were voting no in like maybe as a way to defend PvPers, and a lot of PvPers were the same as like how you're saying with Iron Man, where like they're saying like this doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's kind of like what they were saying last week. They're like, tell us your selfish reasons. Don't do stuff for other people.
yeah,
Tell us what you want.
yeah, exactly. Where it was kind of because really, I haven't seen any arguments as to why you would vote no on these special orbs in the wilderness, because it only passed with 73%, which is pretty low.
Yeah, we have it pulled up here right now too.
Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of funny and weird, and along the same
I
lines
want
as
it.
like not voting for yourself, but voting for what you think other people would want when you just have no idea.
Yeah, it's probably just a bad call.
Yeah,
I definitely voted yes because I want it for PVM.
I voted yes. Yeah, exactly, for PVM or for other people that maybe want to get into PvP, but I mean, don't want to deal with having to go to their first tab to hit the special.
Yeah, I've been doing that sometimes at TOA, trying to do that to be like quicker attacking the core when it falls out,
Yeah.
and it's so unusual to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing where it's like it's so unusual to you that it doesn't really affect you when changes like that like happens. So
Yeah.
I saw at least 3 or 4 people saying like, yeah, this doesn't affect PvP at all. So I don't know why people were voting no for this.
We were trying to be accommodating, and the PPs were like, we don't care.
You should have just skipped, because a decent amount of people skipped. I think 20,000 people skipped that question.
Jesus.
Which is, I mean,
Huge.
another person brought up a really good point that it's good when people skip things. That means that they have no idea what it is talking about, and that they have no good input.
I skip questions sometimes too.
Which is what you should do. If you don't have a good input or any idea what it's entailing, then you should just skip it.
Yeah, if I don't want it for myself, I'll usually just skip it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we can go over the results of the poll.
Yeah, sure. So poll 78 just finished. It's the community consultation and poll, because it obviously also encompassed the 5 questions for the community consultation. Did you want to go over those real quick?
Yeah. So question number 1 was regarding a new skill. What type of new skill would you most like to see the OSRS team pitch? Pick your favorite option. So in first place was utility.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, the ones that we voted for.
Yeah, both of us voted for utility.
That
as well.
was 49.3%. Second place was actually combat, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, I was and wasn't surprised. I thought it would
Because we
like
did say combat seems the most like unique and interesting, probably.
yeah, so I wasn't really surprised. I was surprised at how much utility won by. It
Mm-hmm.
won by a lot.
Yeah, so second place, it was only the 21. So by 28%, utility ended up winning.
Yeah, so over double, which
Yeah.
is a lot more than I thought.
Then gathering was 15.8 and production at 13%. Next question, where did you get most of the information about the new skill? This one was they just want to read what people get their stuff from.
Yeah,
And half of the people get it from the news blogs like us.
yeah, exactly. And it's funny because you could also pick multiple options for this one and the next one. So
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to really, say what was the most popular option, but
Well, I thought this was a cool question too. Is what activities do you most enjoy in game? And you could do multiple options. And the first one was PVM bossing.
yeah.
But that was 76%. 63.8% of people also chose skilling.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting because
well,
a lot of people complain about skilling.
the thing is, I think it's very few people that do PVMing and don't skill. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know who does that. I don't even
I
know.
think I've definitely rated some people like that.
Yeah, I kind of don't even know how that's possible, but I mean, I guess I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like that means that you're not doing like any like skills really, or if you are, then you hate it, and you only like PVMing, which I guess could it could just be a labor of love for your main skill that you like. I guess.
I mean, that kind of reminds me of like Witch Eileen's account. She's like way into skilling. She does
Yeah.
still do some PVM, but she likes skilling. She's going for like rank 10 every skill in hardcore.
Yeah.
She also streams. Check out Witch Eileen.
Also, it's hard to even. That's why I was saying it's like hard to even really quantify a lot of these questions because like they have PVMing and rating / endgame content separately.
I consider this separate.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
But whenever I did click PVM, I was thinking raids.
yeah, I think a lot of people would think that. Or, I mean, what's more endgame content than some of the hardest bosses in the game that aren't
Very
not
true.
a raid,
Nightmare.
technically. Yeah, like if you're soloing Nightmare, I definitely would guess that you're in the endgame.
I agree. Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer, but I did think it was funny that some people liked skilling because it seems like everyone always complains about skilling.
Yeah, I was surprised at one thing, or two things, I guess. One, that minigames was so low in comparison at only 37%.
So only a third of people are really into minigames, and we love minigames.
Yeah. For example, PVMing was at 76%, so over double. And then also that clue scrolling was so high.
Also scrolling was a third.
Also at 37%, which is really, really high.
I was not surprised by that. I love clue scrolls.
I know you do, but I didn't think a lot of people did. But apparently that's like a big thing.
And then just to tell you guys the answer, only half of everyone that answered would be interested in being in a study group for the new skill. A focus group, a study group, she says. And only half of these people would want to fill out a more detailed survey. Moving on to the quality of life. Should players be able to use the crystal armor and change it to different colors? Overwhelmingly, yes. 94% of people voted yes, you should be able to change it.
Yeah, most of these did pass very, very significantly.
Yeah, another one that passed super significantly was that the maximum capacity of coin pouches is going to be raised as you finish the Ardoin Elite Achievement Diaries.
Yeah, it's nice that I don't feel crazy. A lot of people on like various places are wondering like why don't they just remove them at the max at Elite?
Oh, people are saying that too?
Yeah, a lot of people are like some people are even saying why don't they just remove them at hard?
Honestly,
because I mean, if you're just putting them in strictly to combat bots, I don't know what bot is gonna go through all of the hard diaries and the requirements just for thieving.
And if they do, they deserve it.
I mean, there are some high level bots like that, but I mean, again, you're just thieving. I don't know.
Well, question number 8 that also passed. The success rate for minting Zamrock wines is going to be improved. The magic secateurs are now going to work from your inventory. 89% of people voted for that.
Finally.
10% were just haters for some reason.
Yeah, I guess so.
Should the magic secateurs effect and farming skill cave boost be improved to include all plants grown in bush patches and limpwort plants? 94% said yes.
Nice.
All variants of the rune pouch are going to automatically add player-made runes. That passed overwhelmingly. This one was more of a close call. Should we reduce the spawn timers of the veins found on the lower floor of Motherland Mine? It did pass, but only with 74%.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close that was.
Mm-hmm. Similarly, at 76%, so not passing by too much, they are going to add additional veins to the lower floor of Motherland Mine. This one even closer,
This
72%.
I think this was the closest one on the whole poll.
Yeah. Should we place some veins closer to the main area of the lower floor of Motherlode Mine? 72% said yes.
Yeah, I think this was probably the most divisive one because they didn't say where or how close.
If I had to guess, some of the votes are people who are a little regretful that now they unlocked upstairs, and it'll be a little less necessary. But for somebody who has not unlocked upstairs, I'm pretty happy about this.
Yeah.
Should we allow you to resell your unique, untradeable items to Giants Foundry Reward Shop? Yes. Oh, I also skipped one.
Yeah, this was funny because a lot of people said F on the subreddit about this.
I literally just rolled my eyes as you said that. Should we rename the mining rocks across Gilnor to feature the name of the ore found there? 77% of people said yes, so they are. Literally, who cares if it's named
No, they were saying rest in peace to prospecting.
Oh, okay, good. I thought they were just in general were like, no, it's too good.
Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, for anyone that doesn't know, prospecting's essentially been removed from the game.
Prospecting, I never really did.
Yeah. It's funny because these next two questions were the most skipped by far.
Yeah, I skipped this, I think. Should we allow Magpie Implings to drop Rings of Recoil? Those that passed with 81%. 27,000 people skipped it. If that passes, should Rings of Recoil be added to the drop table or replace the pineapple drop? And it's just going to be added to the table. That was like actually nearly half and half for the votes.
Yeah, half and half. And also almost as many that voted skipped.
Yeah, 42,000 people skipped. Should we enable players to make Extend Super Anti-Fire by adding Crushed Superior Dragon Bones to Extend Anti-Fire? Yes, it won. Should we expand the selections of seeds that can be used on birdhouses to include allotment, bush, and flower?
This was nice. This was a really nice change.
Yeah, 88% of people voted yes on that.
Huge quality of life.
I can't wait for that to be implemented because I don't have to be as paranoid about which seeds I'm bringing with me.
I like how it suggests it's like, oh, you could bring 10 Renar seeds.
Okay, we're not going to, though. Should we increase the value of the treasure chest in the POH? Yes. Should we improve Theater of Blood entry as described in the poll? Yes. 92% of people said yes. I thought it was going to be lower. I thought people would be more bitter about it.
Yeah, that was a really high percentage.
That was a pleasant surprise, I think.
Yeah.
Should we enable the special attack orb to work in the wilderness? And that was 73% voted yes. So that is a pass. And I'm pretty excited about that for PVM reasons.
A lot of people thought that it I didn't know exactly how it worked. So I also kind of thought it failed. For anyone that doesn't know, when you skip a question, it doesn't count towards the total percentage of yes, no. So for example here, technically only 50% of people voted yes, and like 20% of people voted no, and 20% of people voted skip.
Yeah, they recalculate the math to decide who it is.
Yeah, so they disregard all these skip questions. So that's how it works out for it being 73% for a pass, is they just,
Oh, yeah. Also, they did make it as well so that it only requires 70% to pass the polls.
Yeah, so I thought it was weird, but now that I know that, it makes a lot more sense because I was like, well, it seems like a lot of things failed.
Should players be able to filter which prayers appear in the prayer tab? Has majorities voted yes.
Yeah, 105,000 votes.
Should spell icons increase inside when you have filters enabled to benefit the magic tab? Yes, that is passed.
Yeah, huge.
A couple.
The spell icons are really nice on mobile.
Oh yeah, and a couple fails here. Hades Kazantis is not going to be removed from the game.
Yeah, there were so many memes about this. They're all like, he can't keep getting away with this. And also people suggesting that they make him even more ostentatiously dressed.
I love it. Yeah, I skipped this one. A majority, not a majority, but a huge amount of people skipped this. So it was like almost 50-50, 54 versus 45. And then, only 70,000 people voted and 59,000 skipped it, including myself.
Yeah, a lot of people skipped it. Yeah. I think a lot of people like us didn't know why people hated him.
I ended up looking it up and people just thought he looked out of place. And I'm like, that's kind of a...
Yeah, it's just because he's wearing full third age.
Yeah, and it kind of just makes him a meme.
Yeah.
Should the special attack cost the Abyssal Dagger be reduced? Yes, that is passed overwhelmingly. And now there's going to be a stackable, untradeable version of Cave Nightshade available exclusively from farming. Yeah. That's another pass.
Cool. So, yeah, everything except for, just those two things, really. Yeah. The Ring of Recoil, which, well, I guess it did pass, but it just had two different options.
Yeah.
And then the Hades Kazantis.
Because nobody cared, really.
Yeah. All right, and we are back from our little intermission. I almost called it transmission, but
Mm.
we are back. It is Thursday, and luckily we waited because there was an update,
Yeah.
like they said.
So a bit of a change to the docket. Now we are going to be talking about the Wilderness Boss rework tweaks and other small changes.
Yes.
But before we get into that, we are going to go over the mod Q&A.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, I actually had something else to say.
Wow, we're just never gonna get
sorry.
to it.
Real quick, we ended up getting the Fang for bingo.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And we got in Lato's name, who is the only iron in our bingo, and he did not have it yet. So it was actually very exciting.
Yeah. So big ups all around. Also, we'll probably save it for next week to tell you exactly, but there's even been a few pets acquired in this little escapade as well.
No, it's public knowledge. Lato got Calfight Queen. He
Oh,
was
okay.
streaming, so it's not
I
like
was
a
like,
secret.
yeah, I was like, because they are keeping some things secret, so I wasn't sure if that was allowed
We're
to
trying
say.
to strategize, but yeah, no, he was literally streaming it, so anyone could see.
Either
He
way,
got
though.
Calfight Queen at like 120. It's crazy.
We can take a look at the mod Q&A live stream. This was between Mod Aiza, Mod Kirby, which is a junior content developer. I think he's newer, and then
Mhm.
Mod Goblin, of course. I think Mod Goblin, also shout out, has been, I think, doing a really good job as a community manager for at least more recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely over on the subreddit. I see him a lot, and yeah,
That's good.
I just think he's doing a pretty good job. Besides that, though, this Q&A did take place last week on Thursday, I think, and they did just cover mainly a lot of stuff about the, of course, Wilderness Boss rework, because that's
What?
what's going on right now. And yeah, they had some interesting stuff that I thought we should probably at least take a look at.
Okay.
So the first thing they've already kind of addressed, but it's going to be the balancing of the Wilderness Boss rewards.
Which is kind of will lead into the update this week. There was changes.
Yeah. So there already was hot fixes, and they're also going to continue taking a look at the rewards, because
Yeah.
initially, whenever these bosses were brought up, they said that they were going to have equivalent or near equivalent loot to something like Vorkath, which
And it was not there before.
yeah, which I mean it wasn't, and it still really isn't up to that par.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, again, I think we said this last week. I don't know how they're calculating that, like, because I think 10 people can get loot from each of the wilderness bosses.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're including all of that 10 loot as if it would be the same as one
I'd
individual's loot.
imagine be each individual makes as much as Warcath. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're only making
So-
10% of what you make at Warcath.
Yeah, I know, right? But like also, yeah, it's like, how do you calculate that? Because obviously then your chances go down by 10 times as much for getting the loot if you have 10 people in the group for the rares, right? So it's like, I don't know how
Yeah,
they're calculating that.
They do go into it more in the update. It's funny because the mod Q&A, I mean, at least that question's a little bit less relevant today than it would have been yesterday when we started recording.
Yeah.
Because now there has been the update, but they do go into more like their thought process and future changes that they might make.
Yeah.
But yeah, as it is right now, or at least how it was yesterday, it's definitely not making the same amount they make it for in an hour.
Yeah, so we'll jump into the very first question, which does kind of address this, especially because it's in stark contrast for a boss like Muspa, which obviously did just come out very recently, so it's easy to, so it's really easy to try and compare that. But for
They're not really supposed to be comparable, though.
no, for sure, but I mean, they did say it's supposed to make a lot of money. And so Muspa, you make around 200k per kill, 200k GP, which is a lot, and that's after the nerf. But the Wildy bosses make around 25k.
Oh, that's funny.
So they're saying, is this because the uniques of the Wildy boss are much more valuable, or they're wondering like
what is up here?
Yeah, how are you gonna like balance this? And so pretty much, Kirby says that they did roll out some of those hot fixes to make it so that you do get more loot.
Yeah.
They just straight up added more loot, but they made it so that, because I think originally there was a bug. So it seems like there was a combination of things that went wrong where like they undertuned it, and they even say here that they purposely went and undertuned it because they didn't want people accidentally making like 20 mil an hour or something like that.
Which is hilarious because it's very much the opposite problem.
Yeah. But they did say that they wanted to like slowly increase the rewards if that's what was needed, rather than having to drastically decrease them because they overtuned it.
Yeah.
Which I think is honestly a pretty well-rounded approach to something like that.
I could agree.
Especially because like this was going to be a very like not I think very obviously is going to be a camped boss. Like the wilderness bosses, like
Yeah.
clans were going to rule these bosses, and that's known. But there was a bug in addition to that where actually only 5 people were getting drops instead of 15. So
Yikes.
they hot fixed that, but now they've changed it to that you get more loot, but only 10 people get loot.
A
So
little. It reminds me a lot of Volcano.
yeah,
If there's a ton
exactly.
of people there, try to be speedy
Yeah,
and pray for your RNG.
yeah, and even Mod Kirby does say something about the group size, saying that this seems to be an issue in larger groups, especially where the normal drops are the bulk of what players are seeing a lot, and the value is just not there. You're getting very low quantities of item, and value is there in smaller groups. But I imagine most players aren't in smaller groups right now, so it just doesn't work out. And yeah, I think he's totally right. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, most people are doing this in mass right now, which is, even more than 20 people. So some people just aren't getting loot.
Yeah, that would suck actually.
Yeah. And
All
yeah,
that risk, no reward.
exactly. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's supposed to be really high risk and really high reward. But I mean,
That is how they advertised it.
that is how they advertised it. But also, I mean, there has to be a limit. It can't just be, oh, because you're risking, you get guaranteed, 5, 7 mil an hour or something like that.
Yeah,
Because then obviously it would be taken advantage of.
that's true.
But Madaiza does say that in quick summary, we know that it's not in a great place, and we're looking to increase the amount of base loot. That's most likely going to be hot fixed some point tomorrow, which they
It's
already
already
did.
done. We'll get into it in more detail soon.
Well, this was actually last week when they hot fixed it.
Oh, so it's happened twice since then.
Yeah. We're then going to spend tomorrow and the weekend, this was the past weekend, gathering data to make further incremental changes until we get to a point where we really are happy with it, and you're happy with it as well.
It's funny. It's taking a second.
Yeah, something that they wanted to touch on in terms of why it was released that way was I don't want it to be a huge misconception that it was unintentional. I think the only thing that wasn't intentional and was hotfixed soon after release is that loot was being given out to the right amount of participants, which is what I mentioned.
Yes.
It was capped at 5 instead of 15, but we fixed that really quickly.
And then it got changed back down again.
Yeah. And then he goes on to say, let's take a look at Muspa. It's the most recent boss as an example. We have tons of historic data when it comes to instanced bosses that are only able to be killed by one person with a particular set of stats. We can use this data to figure out a ballpark of where drops need to be for certain kill times so that on release it feels pretty good. Even with all that historic data, we didn't get it perfect. You've seen 2 iterations of drop table revisions to Muspa, one soon after release, and another that went out with this week's update. Over the course of 2 weeks, that's reasonable. That's a huge amount of historic data that we've got. I don't want to make excuses, but the reality is that we don't have that same level of data when it comes to the wilderness content. It's the first time we've looked at reworking these bosses in years since their release, and we can't use the data that came from the previous bosses because the new ones are reworked completely different versions.
Everything's totally different.
Yeah. So he says the old data was irrelevant, and data from the previous bosses that we've got in the game also aren't relevant because they're instance or capped at certain amounts of people.
It basically seems like they have to start researching everything from the ground up now.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we went into saying earlier is like they wanted to start very light and they didn't want to go into it, even he said they didn't want to go into it heavy-handed, and they wanted to release it in more of a reserved state. So
Yeah.
he wanted to let it be known that this wasn't an accident how few drops you're getting. They didn't want to overtune it, and that was like their main objective.
So they'd rather just start low and build up to higher rather than start high and be like, "Oh God, we need to nerf this real bad."
Yeah, I think that's honestly
That is a smarter way of doing it.
by far the best way to do it. Because like, imagine how much harder it would have been for the community for a pill that for the community to swallow, being like, oh, now because I didn't farm the bosses crazy in the first week, I lost out on making 50 mil an hour or
I
something
think that,
like
yeah,
that.
I agree. This is a much smarter way of doing it.
Yeah, it's like it's easier to go back on making too little money than making too much money.
Yeah. Less better people.
Yeah, either way. So that's kind of what their philosophy was for that going forward. They also answer a few easy questions. Do the lower level bosses count for the achievement diary and the elite diary? And yes, they should,
Yay!
and they do. Also, some people were wondering that apparently Vedion's Reborn sword changes colors now. It used to just stay blue, but now it turns orange like the rest of his body.
Yeah, it goes into orange mode. What do you expect?
Yeah, so that's exactly what some of the mods said is like they like that it goes all orange, but if a lot of people don't like it, then I mean, obviously they can take a look at it, but it seems like it's just a couple people that don't like it.
Yeah.
Um, Also, a lot of people were wondering about the single bosses, so singles plus bosses, and because a lot of people are wondering if they intentionally switch aggro on purpose.
Oh, like if someone else runs to the room?
Yeah, so if someone else runs into the room, it's very common that they'll immediately be targeted by the boss and it'll switch off of you.
So that's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying,
Especially if
but
you're iron.
it is well, if you're iron, you're SOL. It doesn't matter. And as soon as someone enters, you're pretty much done.
Hmm.
So that doesn't really matter. But that's also something that they're taking a look at. But no, what they say is that that's actually intended. Is
Oh.
because whenever a PK or another person goes into the room, they said it's like it'd be nicer for them to assume it's a PK, and so that if you wanted to anti PK them, then you have a chance of going on them with the boss at the same time.
That's true.
Yeah, so and I've seen plenty of people at specifically Vedion like really turning around and just anti PKing someone with like one hit with like a Void Waker or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So especially because if you can get them stuck in the lightning, that does a lot of damage with a Void Waker hit. That's pretty much guaranteed one shot.
Yeah, I haven't even gone back to Vedyot since last week. I never even got a full kill.
Yeah. And yeah, so I think that's kind of a cool mechanic. Obviously, because there's a lot of people PKing, because they can either be easy kills or easy anti PKs, kind of depending on who it is, or so it seems so far.
Yeah.
Another easy one is do the lower risk versions of the wildy bosses, drop the upgrades to the weapons, and all of them do. Yes, they do.
Good.
So you can upgrade all of them solo if you want. Also, they do mention that it is possible. They answer one of the questions here. Someone asked if it's possible to solo the multi bosses, and it is.
Yeah, I've heard of people soloing them. It's just because it does give you better chances at rewards, right?
Yeah, much better chances.
Yeah, but it's harder.
Yeah, it is much harder, but it is very soloable, especially, and they even mentioned this as well, especially if you are going to Vedion. Because, well, one, they made nerfs to Vedion in this most recent patch, but in addition to that, he's just an easier boss in general. Because all of his, one, he's slow, all of his attacks are really telegraphed, and if you're able to just, dodge the lightning, then you're actually not taking too much damage there.
Mm-hmm.
This next question I've seen a lot of people asking is the Void Waker Karasi. So for anyone wondering what this is in reference to, in RuneScape 3, there is a NPC named Karasi, and they have the Karasi's sword, which, funny enough, looks exactly like the Void Waker.
It's probably just a design thing, I'm sure.
It is just a design thing. So they're saying that...
So it's a classic case of it's really not that deep.
Yeah, so they're even saying, like, how can there be a Karasi without Karasi?
Yeah.
So this is just influenced from RuneScape 3, not saying that it is, similar in any other way than the way it looks.
Yeah.
So that's...
just maybe not the most unique design.
Yeah. Also, some people asking about the Void Waker animation. Some people like it, some people don't like it, apparently. And also, people wondering if it's even useful in PvM. And actually, I haven't thought about it. I was thinking of it strictly PvP, but yeah, I guess Madaiza has found some places where it is technically best in slot, but also they don't know whether it would be worth it to bring it over like extra food or a different spec weapon or something like that.
Probably pretty niche.
Yeah. So yeah, there's more questions in here that I think are pretty decent, but I'm obviously we're not going to go over all of them. I'd recommend taking a look at it, and we will have notes in the description of the YouTube video, or you can just go over to the OSRS news page and check out all of the ones there.
Cool.
Oh, someone did ask one really funny question that I thought I'd close out with. They asked, will group Ironmen lose prestige if another person attacks the reworked wilderness boss? And Mod Kirby just says, do you want to be griefed?
We could do that if you really want.
Yeah, but no. So you will not lose group prestige if you go to the wilderness boss. That'd be so crazy.
That'd be the fastest way to lose group prestige ever.
Yeah, that'd be one of the most troll mechanics if they added that. But no, so you
Thankfully, you'll not.
You should be fine going there. And they did say they are going to be releasing all of the drop rates, obviously.
That it didn't actually come out yet. It's gonna be next week, I believe.
Yeah, it is going to be in time. Usually, I think they've tried to commit to 2 weeks after any boss comes out or
Hmm.
anything comes out. They're trying to release it every 2 weeks.
So next week, I'm excited to see.
So yeah, stay tuned if you are really interested in the particular drop rates for everything.
Yeah, but for now, we can move on to the actual update this week: the Wilderness Boss rework tweaks and more.
Yep. This
So
did come out on Thursday today, so
yes. So first up, there were a couple of hot fixes just like regarding the wilderness weapons, but they've all since been fixed. It would just be like the chain mace keeps hitting zeros and stuff like that, but they're all good, so don't worry about it.
yeah.
But regarding the Wilderness Boss rework, last week's Wilderness Boss rework was a great success. It's wonderful to see so many of you enjoying one of the game's most underappreciated areas. This week, we hope to see even more of you checking the wilderness out as we introduce the next batch of improvements. So, drop rates. So, the loot table, like we were just saying, they have not released this yet, but they do go on to say what we were talking about, that now instead of 15 people receiving loot, it's going to move down to 10. The good thing is that they increased the minimum loot from 0 to 15%. So if you do less than 15% damage, you'll still be rewarded as though you did 15%. So that's like if there's 10 or less of you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you hit it once and there's only like 7 of you, you'll still get rewarded like you did 15%.
Yeah. But if you hit it once and there's like 11 of you, there's a good chance you won't get anything.
Yeah, exactly. They also increased the quantity of base rewards. An example of this, a group of 10 players now effectively receive 1.5 times more regular loot on average than a solo player, as well as getting significantly more kills per hour. Some not so great news. Since this hotfix went live last week, we see concern that the regular loot isn't quite meeting your expectations. Having strong, consistent loot is important because it prevents the dilemma. Do you stick around to gain more rewards while risking being found by other players, or do you cash out while you can and go gear back up? By our estimations, the regular loot per kill for Venenatis, Vedion, and Callistos were somewhere between 130 to 150,000 gold. The problem is that these averages come from big ticket items like Onyx bolt tips, which means that hitting one of these rewards mean player instantly head to the bank instead of really weighing their options. All to this to say that this week's changes made the loot table a bit more consistent. They've increased the quantities of lower value drops, noted more items, and they provide you with a little bit more incentive to stay for longer until they make some further tweaks.
Yeah. So, I mean, that makes sense. Honestly,
They don't want you to leave yet because otherwise there's no point of being in the wilderness.
yeah. And with that information, that's pretty on par, if not more, than the loot that you would normally get from Vorkath.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Vorkath, you make around 110,000 GP per kill.
Yeah.
So this
But
is
like I don't know
quite a
how
bit
common
more.
the Onyx bolt drops are.
I mean, they're not that common, but that's what they're saying is they changed around the drop table to
Mhm.
make it so you get
It's not just that.
yeah, you get less high ticket items and more of the lower drops, so that
Mhm.
it'll feel worth it either way, hopefully. Yeah, so this is something they're going to continue changing throughout time. So if you have any feedback, make sure to give it to them.
Moving on, they added some new anti-grief mechanics. We've noticed that players participating in a singles variant of the wilderness bosses can be griefed easily by other players. As a result, they're making the following changes. Calvarian now only summons 2 hounds no matter how many players are in the fight. Spindle is limited to a maximum of 10 spiderlings no matter how many people are there. And all wilderness bosses are now immune to Ring of Recoil and similar effects.
I was kind of curious as to why they
Yeah,
made
what is that, the
this
griefing
change.
thing, I wonder? Oh, I guess saving an iron, like maybe someone has
Yeah.
auto retaliate on.
Or they, even if they don't and it attacks them, then
Oh, yeah, then
it
just
recoils.
Yeah, okay, no, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks because I like Ring of Recoil in the wilderness.
Yeah, I know. That's a weird change, but I
Yeah.
can see why they did it. These next ones are actually kind of a big change.
Yeah, so they fixed the issue where the accursed scepters were reverting to Thamrin scepters while protected on PvP death when equipped.
Yeah, so people were getting PK'd with the new scepter and it would just remove the upgrade.
Like, that's really frustrating.
Yeah, especially if they spent like millions on it, it would just get removed.
Yeah, no, thank you. They rearranged Venenatis' damage through prayer from being rolled and capped at 30 to being capped at 30 and then rolled.
Which is good because a lot of people were getting absolutely stacked out by Venenatis' damage.
Yeah, I bet. Calvarian will now only spawn up to 7 lightning strikes at one time, regardless of the number of the players in the arena or the weather report.
Yeah, this was getting
But
so bad that like almost half the arena was covered in lightning.
Oh my
because
god, dude.
Because there were so many people in
That's
the arena.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Some other small changes. Pets will no longer leap in to deliver Nermoff's final line while he's repairing your dragon pickaxe, which I think is devastating. I would love to be getting it fixed. And my little Kraken's like, here you go. Here's your pickaxe.
Yeah.
They also fixed an issue where Artio's head was clipping when within melee range. One hotfix that they fixed was the Woodwalker components turning into coins upon death in the wilderness.
Yeah, this
Also
was
probably frustrating.
really. I saw some people saying that they like obviously saw someone got a drop, PK'd them, and only got like coins instead of a drop that was worth
That's
several
so
mil.
crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was really really unfortunate for them.
They also say that they are aware of the following issues and working on fixes as we speak. So the boss entry fee is lost upon any wilderness death. They want to instead explore changing this so you only lose the fee if you die in the combat that begin inside or within close proximity to the boss layers and escape caves. So let them know your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
It'd suck. You just like die running like abyss or something, or running into the abyss trying to do runes, and you just like lose that entry fee.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how this was working, but yeah, people were losing it anywhere in the wilderness.
That's crazy. The stall behavior when falling into a boss layer can be disruptive in PvP scenarios. No, I love the... Well, not the stall, but I love the falling.
Yeah, it's nice that it's on their radar. I don't think that this is like a bad thing. I think if anything, this is like a good thing.
This
Like
makes it more fair, I
you
imagine.
should have a few seconds to know if 10 people are gonna roll up and
Because it's
spec you
always
out.
10 people, bro.
Yeah. So like you should have at least a second to try and run away.
Yeah, I agree with that. Vin and Addison Spindle's web attacks are a bit too punishing on the energy drain front. At the very least, we want to reduce the drain for players under the effects of stamina pots, but we're exploring other options so those of you who just have to walk it off. Yeah, whenever I was doing Vin and Addis, like, you can see if you watch the video, I was running out of run and using stamina over and over.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, pretty much if you touch Spindle's web at all, or during the Spindle's like special attack, web attack, it drains your run very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, there's also, this isn't listed here, but this was a bug initially whenever this patch did come out, where if someone spec'd you with the Ursine Chain Mace, you actually couldn't run for 8 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like 8 seconds or 8 ticks. Like you couldn't turn back on your run. You could control click run and that would still work.
Oh, so it was just completely a bug.
It was just bugged, but it's been since fixed. But
that's good.
I thought it was funny, like having to get spec'd and just like standing there, just not running at all. Yeah.
They also are going to be looking into the Theron Scepter, which remains unable to autocast.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but that is it for this week's updates as far as the wilderness goes.
They do have some teasers going into next week, though.
Yes, they do.
And so a couple of the updates that they are going over is coming up for next week. And this is actually going to be a fairy ring graphical change. So a lot of people were really not happy with the fairy ring update. So they are changing it, unfortunately.
God knows we cannot add a beam of light without a pole in this game.
Yeah, for anyone that didn't like it, you are...
You won.
Yeah, you're getting what you wanted. So a lot of people were mainly upset with how anti-secret the look of the new version was, because they because the hidden fairy town should be hidden and it shouldn't be like welcoming, like come enter the fairy town, which I guess does make sense lore wise. But
do you think they really cared about the lore, or they just wanted it changed and they were using it as an excuse?
I don't know. Either way.
Either way, it's getting changed.
Either way, it's getting changed. So what they are doing, they do have a reveal of what it will look like up, and it's mainly... it looks very, very similar to how it is. The only main significant difference is there's no like double helix in the middle.
Yeah, and the beam does not go quite as high now.
Yeah, so they changed it to look kind of just like a little bit of flashing light with butterflies around it instead of an actual like beam of light. So it should be a little more discreet now, but obviously if there still needs to be more changes, then I'm sure you'll let them know.
I like that sounded kind of passive. I'm sure you'll let them know.
I'm sure you'll let them know.
You will.
Besides that, there are a couple welcome screen changes, which I mean, I guess they're not too crazy important. I don't know if anyone knows, but you can revert to the old welcome screen.
I didn't know that, so I've always had this screen.
Yeah, so the new one looks new, the old one looks old, and that's about it.
Now we're only gonna have one.
Yeah. Secrets of the North. So there has been some changes for Secrets of the North yet again. So we made some improvements to the Venator bow following your feedback on its use in both PvE and PvP, or I guess they call it PVM here.
Mm-hmm.
In last week's news post, we gave you a heads up on these changes, so they shouldn't come up as a huge surprise. And they did. So the Venator bow will now tell you how many charges more frequently at every increment of 500, because I think it was just doing it at every like 1,000 or something.
That's like a really big window
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It will also print more emphatic messages when you hit 150, just so you
Hmm.
really know that you're running out.
Okay.
Also, these are the much bigger changes. There was a bug for actually kind of a long time with the Venator bow that as long as you hit with your first attack, you were guaranteed hits on your follow-up
It's
attacks,
massive.
on your bounce ricochets,
Yeah.
which is a really big deal because each one should have its own accuracy.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
It shouldn't have been guaranteed.
yeah, so now they made it so secondary hits should now roll their own accuracy checks instead of using the one from the initial hit. Arrows can now ricochet even if their target dies, which is kind of a buff
That's
to the bow.
cool.
Because usually before, if the target died, then it would just
It just
the
stop.
arrow would fall dead. The speed of the ricocheting arrows has also increased somewhat, which would make the bow feel a bit nicer to use. And for anyone that's still sleeping on the Venator bow, it is really, really good ranged XP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I saw someone using it on Dagonoths the other day, and they're getting over 200,000 XP an hour.
Oh, you know a huge thing? I don't know if this is just like a mistake, but apparently in TOA there's this one puzzle before Caffrey where you have to hit all the pillars in like a very precise order, and it's kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you use it, it will just hit them all at once. It'll auto solve it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if that was a bug that got fixed because that seems like too
They didn't
good.
mention it, so maybe.
Yeah. Or if that maybe it was just like a fluke. I have no idea what happened. But someone did tell me that. I didn't try it out myself because I don't own the bow.
Yeah, probably not worth it because I don't think it's good anywhere else.
That's
But
probably why they, even if that is a thing, it's probably why they wouldn't be worried about it because no one's gonna waste an inventory spot just for that one puzzle.
yeah, unless that's your main bow, you're probably never going to use it.
Yeah.
There, at least. They also made some more enhanced C++ client improvements, made some additions to the mini-map functionality, as well as ability to turn on combat level decimal points and fishing spots in the Chambers of Zarek with a few extra clue scroll helper fixes. So not too much going on there. There's a couple other changes. So they restored missing text for the Accursed Scepter. The Artie Diary now tells you more clearly where to imbue your Salve Amulet, because I guess some people were imbuing it somewhere else. Deadman players now obtain the Mystic cards from Diango, just like everyone else. Players of the Deadman world are still subject to its newbie PvP immunity, are no longer eligible to receive the weapon drops from the Revenants, because I guess they
I'm
were
sure there's
abusing
some
that.
ballers doing that.
I'm sure they were abusing that. And yeah, just a few other things. One was hiding. The hiding animation featured in Another Slice of Ham was fixed. Players can no longer have multiple followers while temple trekking, and fix an issue with the Lumbridge armor stand while clipping in PvP worlds. Besides that, they do
Big
have
things.
a few extra talking points just about Pole 78 and the coming steps.
Yeah, I thought this was funny.
Yeah, so nearly everything in Pole 78 should pass. Even Hades escaping justice and missing out on spending the rest of his days in a cozy Port Sarim jail cell couldn't ruin that.
Yeah, Robert actually had a funny idea for what they should do with Hades.
Oh yeah, because a lot of people are like saying that he should come, he should like have gear that's even more ostentatious than before. And I was like,
Yeah.
maybe they should like pretend that he like went, like on trial or something, or like, hid away for a little bit and then came back with even more
Even
ostentatious
more
gear.
ridiculous.
Like I even joked about like dual wielding third age pickaxes. 'Cause literally carrying as many billions as possible on his body.
He's back and more rich than ever before.
Yeah, like he has a max cape made out of like gold coins
Out
or
of
something.
diamonds.
Yeah. I think that'd be hilarious. But today they would like to share the results of the Poll 78 priority survey. This is the survey saying which of these you'd want to see first, and they'll see. Well, we have those here. So a whopping 9,000 of you voted in the survey, and
I didn't vote on this survey.
I didn't know this existed, so I didn't either.
Whoops.
But either 1 through 5 will tell you which is voted on to be released first. So the increase in coin pouch capacity. Second is Magic Secutor's inventory usage. Third is automatically adding runes to the pouch. Fourth is the Crystal Armor recolor. And fifth and last is going to be the Magic Secutors and the Farming Skill Cape boost on bushes and limpworts. So starting next week's update, you'll see the coin pouch capacity increase alongside
Huge.
of the ability to show off your peak thriftiness fashionscape with crystal armor.
Nice.
So they are going to slowly be adding, oh, also the ability to make super extended antes from extended antes and say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, no thank you.
But yeah, so they're just going to be adding
A couple of them.
these three
Nice.
things so far, and hopefully they'll have most of them done by the time the next one comes out. It says we expect for the top 5 to be in game in the next 2 weeks, with the remainder coming out in the next month or 2.
I think it's funny how the extended anti-fire thing wasn't even in the top 5, but they're adding it like
I know.
immediately.
Must have already been done.
Yeah, right.
As we start planning for the next quality of life poll and what it will theme will follow. So yeah, plenty of stuff. Also, another clue for Crack the Clue, like we said in the past pods, they'll continue coming out with more clues until this is done. So should not be a surprise
forever.
that it is here.
We will never end it.
Yeah. Overall, that is going to be it for the patch. Not a ton to go over, but interesting enough.
Yeah. I think the fairy ring thing is funny because it's just like so unnecessary. I think
Yeah.
it looks pretty. I think it still looks pretty, but I do think it's like kind of ridiculous that people were making such a big deal about that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was nearly enough for me to even really think about, let alone give feedback on.
Yeah. Literally all I thought was, oh, it looks cool.
I was like, oh, now I can click on it from very far away. This is great.
Yeah. But anyway, move on to our own Q&A.
Yes, we do have our very own Q&A.
Yeah. So we have 2 questions regarding RuneScape, and then we have 1 question for a personal Q&A. First question is from Hariger over on Discord. What is something OSRS related that bothers you enormously, but it won't bother most other people? They said, for me, it's the fact that POH are totally square rooms and very restricted in terms of creativity. When Zay was first released, the squareness pissed off seemingly the entire player base. Why are the square houses not hated? Should be like The Sims. Each grid square costs money to build for flooring and walls, and one can design any shape within a grid. Rooms can be big or small, and furniture can be wherever you want. Also, why the hell are houses only accessible via a weird portal? Should be accessible via a door in a city or countryside choice, as if you live in the city of the country, but not some weird parallel universe.
Yeah.
For example, your house is a door in Varrock that doesn't belong to an NPC. I kind of agree with that. I know why they do it, because it's instant.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Hargar's pretty much asking for
Valheim? Isn't that what you designed in?
No, they're pretty much asking exactly for the house from Howl's Moving Castle.
I want that.
Where it's like
you open a door and it's
it's a regular house, and then when you enter it, it's a door to
then
a
it's
different.
its own instance.
It's a different dimension.
Yeah, I like that because the portal thing is really weird.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
it
doesn't
is.
match anything else in your house. It's just a random portal.
Yeah, they're just these ominous purple portals,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird.
Or you can make it optional. Like, there's no reason that they can't just be a door, and it doesn't have to like show the inside like connected to the outside. Obviously, it could just be
Yeah.
like loading the house still.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of piggybacking off of this with my answer, but
I
it's
don't even have an answer yet. I'm
the
just
thing
hoping I get
is,
inspired. I've been
it's
thinking
like-
about this for 2 hours.
this is like a small thing, but also I'm not entirely sure if almost any, or not almost any, I know this community, but not many people would really like find this to be like weird
or annoying.
or annoying. Like I think they would find it reasonable is what I mean. Like because I think that a lot of like all the buildings look like bad except for the ones in Zaya.
Really?
Yeah, because
I like
Zaya
so many of the buildings.
Zaya is so new that I think it makes a lot of the rest of OSRS look bad.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you look
It is
at
a totally different
if you look
vibe,
at
I'll
the
give you
Zaya
that.
buildings, like they have individual bricks, they have like nice roofs, especially all the volumetric coloring is like, especially if you're using 117, looks way worse in OSRS than it does in Zaya.
True.
So, I mean,
Zaya and like Prif are so pretty compared to everywhere else.
yeah, exactly. It's because they're new, and so like it's very obvious that they're new whenever you go there. You're like, I always thought that Zaya should have more there because it looks so much better. But
That's fair. So you want there just something that annoys you is just that everything looks so old.
yeah, it looks old, and also like kind of like what Harger said, they're like the way the buildings are built are not really super interesting. They are very realistic for like medieval whatevers.
But also it's a video
But-
game. You can make it as fantasy as you want.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like high fantasy like floating buildings or anything like that. But I mean, they're all square. They're all rectangle. There's like one circle building, and it's like the culinary guild or whatever.
The cooking guild.
But yeah, in Varrock, there's just like not really many variations. There's regular
Yeah, you're
houses
not
and there's
wrong.
2-story houses. Like,
And that's it.
there's the occasional tent for the fortune teller. It's like some of these I'm sure could be really cool, but
Yeah,
they're
no.
not.
I agree. I also really actually like his idea of being able to change POHs.
Yeah,
I don't know how they would do that. I think it would definitely have to still it had to be related to construction somehow. Like it could be a mini game because people would spend a lot of time on that.
yeah,
I think it would be fun though to be able to decorate it. I also just looked at my like POH and I was like, wow, it is really square.
yeah, exactly. That
And you
being
can't mix and match furniture. You have to have designated rooms for stuff.
Yeah, that being said, I feel like it would, if they did make any changes like that, it would have to be client side because one, I don't think a lot of people would want it to change, and I
Hmm.
don't even necessarily would want like Varrock to change because I mean the aesthetic one, it's like really memorable,
It's very nostalgic.
very nostalgic, and two, it is appropriate for what it is. It's an
Yeah, that's
old
true.
medieval castle town. It's not supposed to be like a cool magical place like Zaya.
Okay, well now that we've like been to like in the Netherlands buildings from like medieval times, they look way cooler than Varrock. Be
Yeah.
real.
I what I
Now we've
guess
seen them in real life, we're like, hey,
I guess what I mean is like maybe they could update a few buildings and most of all make them more detailed.
yes,
Yeah, they keep them old looking or whatever, but make them
add
like
some detail.
more up to date.
Yeah, a little extra stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess people would probably be really split about that. So
Hmm.
maybe that would be mine.
Yeah, I think that things that bother me don't bother most of people. I really can't think of anything, but I
Yeah.
guess something I can't think of is just like I was saying just a second ago regarding fairy rings is something that bothers me is people making really annoying complaints about something as tiny as a spiral.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's really not that deep though.
Yeah. I don't know. This one was really hard because I think we have like mostly fairly level-headed opinions, and it's not
I'd
like
like to think so at least.
yeah, I try to. I mean, I try to think about what other people would also like, and so I don't know. This was a pretty hard question because I don't know specifically what else people wouldn't like majorly. I know there's always people that would
I
not
get,
like
yeah, my thing
things.
is just I think that less stuff should be pulled, and I know a lot of people don't agree with that.
Yeah, maybe
That kind of reminds
that's
me
not a
of
small thing though.
yeah, that's true. It reminds me of this tweet I saw actually, and it was somebody saying like after taking a break, they realized that OSRS needs to be bolder. Like they're saying, power creep cannot hinder new exciting content from existing. Small changes like coin pouches cannot take years. Old meta should be allowed to change. Pull critical changes. Always react to feedback.
Yeah, I
I was just saying
agree
like
with everything except for their first
I
post.
knew you were gonna say the first one. I just don't think they should be so afraid of stuff that they're like we can't add new things for fear of power creep.
Yeah, because like we complain about things like the Venator bow because we have something to complain about. But if they added a new item called the Venator bow and it had a thing that hit like enemies within like a 5 yard range and all of it was 100% like damage instead of 60%, we'd be like, all right, this is the new best in slot item. We all have to have this.
I
And it would
don't
be a trillion billion
I don't
gold.
mean add a bunch of crazy weapons. I just mean don't be afraid that it takes them forever to make new content because they're in fear of it. Just like kind of like introduce it and see where it goes from there.
Uh, I guess, but it's also hard to take things away. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
look at how mad people were about the blowpipe, and that wasn't even best in slot.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's yeah, it's I think that it's easy to say, but I think balancing in the way that they do is actually one of the hardest things to do
Yeah.
because not only are you thinking about now, you're thinking about for years from now.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, obviously the T-bow came out forever ago. It's still best in slot.
Yeah. Like eventually the T-bow is not gonna be best in slot though.
The thing is, it scales off of defense, so it could be best in slot forever.
It's funny because now that there's like some stuff I was looking up and T-bow's actually like not the best in some places. I was thinking like, oh, I could use it here whenever I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. It's still very niche, but it's still very good.
Just so expensive as well because it's really hard to get.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah. Mine was definitely not a small thing, but I couldn't really think of anything. That was a really good question. Like,
yeah. It was a tough question.
yeah, I got stuck on that for sure. Next up is from Matt on Instagram though. Matt started out by saying, "Yo, Harger just turned off the podcast and started playing the hip hop hits in Austria instead. Not a true fan like me.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say, Harger, how dare you?
Shout out Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is that an Australian hip hop artist?
Yeah, an
Stop.
Australian hip
I
hop
remember when I was
artist.
little, I thought he was Australian because I just saw the word, and I guess my mind just like made that up, and I was like, he has a weird accent for an Australian.
Australian.
Anyway, Harger. But anyway, Matt said, I haven't finished the episode yet, but I kind of liked Harger's would you quit question, so I'm going to ask my own. I know how much you care about your podcast and streaming. So, would you quit playing OSRS if Jagex banned OSRS streaming and podcast? My initial reaction was yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually would, though.
I
Because I'm so, like, dedicated to getting, like, everything in the game. I think I'd play it a lot less because I think the reason I've started playing it so much is because I stream it. I'd be really frustrated, though.
I
I'd be
would
pissed.
for like I would stop playing not because of any of those reasons, but because that would tell me a lot about the
Them.
direction that they're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
Enough where that I wouldn't want to be part of that.
Yeah, I was saying to Robert, too, like, that part of my thinking wouldn't even be necessarily because I couldn't stream it. It'd be because I wouldn't like that they were interrupting people's creativeness out of, like, greediness. Because you guys already know, if you listen back whenever they announced how they were, like, going to set new rules on people making merch and stuff, like, that really annoyed me, is that they're just trying to limit what people can do creatively with OSRS. So if they were doing that even more so, I'd just be like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
It might make me want to quit just because I'd be frustrated. Not even necessarily for myself, but just that they had, like, the audacity to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, I'd pretty much just move on to another game, whether that be like Elder Scrolls Online or World of Warcraft, something else.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Albion was pretty fun.
Yeah, Albion. It's I mean that's free too, so I'd definitely be able to try that out. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely probably move on to a different game because, yeah, like
That
I
would
said,
suck.
that would just be it'd be turning into, or the company would be doing something that I couldn't really
Like,
support.
morally, you couldn't agree with
in
that.
the direction they're going with, because
Yeah, I agree.
at that point I don't even really know what they'd be going for, because they'd be losing so much free advertising
Right.
by doing that. It'd be crazy.
You know, you saying that reminded me. I don't know, like, what this was in context about. I think that they, like, maybe Jagex was trying to, like, partner people who don't play OSRS that are streamers, like, to advertise. And someone was like, why would you ask streamers outside of the game rather than asking OSRS streamers? And someone was like, the same reason Amazon doesn't advertise Amazon on their website.
Yeah.
Like, they're already playing.
Yeah, that's actually a big thing that like, funny enough you say that. That's exactly what Path of Exile did.
Yeah?
Yeah, they paid really big streamers like Shroud and, just a few other people.
It is annoying, I'd say, that they wouldn't partner with OSRS content creators.
Yeah,
But it makes sense.
they didn't partner with any of the people that normally stream it, because why would they? They're already going to stream it 40 hours a week,
Mhm.
so why would you need to pay them to
Yeah.
stream what they're going to do anyways?
I would just say find other stuff to do with them creatively. But I did
Yeah.
think that was funny because I'm like, because all of the people who watch them already play OSRS.
Yeah, it was funny because a lot of people were upset because they're all like, you're putting all these, because I mean, I don't know obviously how much those streamers make, but it's pretty easy to
It
guess.
is annoying because it's the rich get richer kind of situation.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to surmise that these people are getting paid, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to play this game
my
that they're going to quit
gosh.
in a week.
Yeah, no, that's very frustrating. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't even know if they're doing this. I just saw somebody tweeting about it. So this could have just been, like, someone speculating this would happen. Because I didn't see anything officially about this. But I do think, like, if they ever did something like that, it makes sense. But also, like, they should partner more with OSR's creators to do stuff. Which they've been doing more recently.
They have been, yeah. Some people even commented that they really enjoyed that they had people describing the new bosses.
Mm-hmm. They had people in the community doing it.
Yeah, I mean they had, like, I think it was Torvesta and Skill Specs
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, they were talking about the new wilderness bosses, and a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I think it's a fun way to do it. And to
Yeah.
actually, like, collab with people who are, like, basically sponsoring your game for free.
Yeah, and it's almost free for them to do anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, I think that's cool. That wasn't even a question. I just wanted to bring that up because it reminded me.
yeah. We do have one more question though.
Yes, we do. This is an in real life question. If you're all done listening to RuneScape stuff, we're basically done here.
Yeah.
Ivor's question. What have been some of your favorite and least favorite medical problems to experience? Ivor answered, getting wisdom teeth removed was pretty chill. They just give you lots of drugs and you don't have to go to work for a bit.
Nice.
For me, least favorite.
I don't think, well, to start off, I don't think either of us have been hospitalized necessarily for medical conditions.
Not that I can remember. I
Yeah.
almost died when I was a baby from a seizure, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So this will unfortunately probably not be as exciting as most people had in maybe what it wanted it to be.
Yeah. Least favorite, I will just say, was when I had COVID. That was awful.
Really? That's
That
funny.
well, at least in like recent memory,
Yeah.
that was like the worst. Also, like my wisdom teeth growing in hurts really bad sometimes.
Oh,
See how baby mind issues are?
such a such a easy life.
I know, right? I don't have any. I'm
You're
thankfully
like,
don't have any medical
Well, I
issues.
had a tummy ache the other
Oh
day.
wait, I'm so dumb. My least favorite was my agoraphobia.
Yeah.
The one that ruined my life for years. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Michelle,
physical, not mental
for
health.
anyone that doesn't know, Michelle had battled severe anxiety for quite a few years, pretty much disabling her from going outside.
Yeah, isn't it weird now?
Yeah, like if anyone's seen Benchwarmers, she is that really pale guy that's really scared of
Unironically.
the Girl Scouts trying to sell cookies.
Yeah, he was agoraphobic. He was just a meme on agoraphobia. Agoraphobia, if you don't know, is a fear of like outside.
Yeah,
I wasn't afraid of outside.
she was afraid of being in not a safe place.
So listen, if you don't know the lore, the Bunebape
We're
lore.
not going to tell them the lore. If you want to know the lore, go to the stream and ask her, and she'll tell you very willingly.
I talk about it, like every day.
Yeah.
I was just afraid of leaving the house and feeling anxious if certain things happened. So I was on homeschool in high school, and I was just very depressed and anxious for several years.
Yeah,
That's probably the worst.
I guess that's technically a medical condition. Which
Yeah,
is
I was
much,
thinking
much
physical,
worse than tummy aches and
Then less worse
colds.
than my wisdom tooth hurting my gums.
Yeah.
What's yours? Your least favorite?
Mine's also not too crazy. It's
My
probably
agoraphobia trumped you there.
probably definitely has something to do with like sports injuries. Like I hurt my hip a long time ago, which the doctor couldn't figure out why.
He was a
and,
little football player in high school for a year.
Besides that, though, it was definitely whenever I hurt my back from powerlifting. I used to powerlift a long time ago.
Yeah, what was the highest you lifted?
Seemingly like a lifetime ago. I don't remember, but
A lot. Like 5 pounds or so.
well, I hurt myself whenever I was deadlifting. I was deadlifting 640 pounds
Jesus.
for a double, which is 2 reps, and I got the first one pretty easy, and then I got the second one pretty easy. But whenever I was letting the weight down, I loosened my midsection and hurt my back,
No, thank you.
and so I had to go to like physical therapy for months and months and
You went to
months.
physical therapy?
Well, it was a physio,
This is before I
but
knew
it
him.
was a chiropractor
Okay.
technically.
Yeah, he stopped powerlifting like a year before I met him, I think.
Yeah, so it was luckily not debilitating in my case,
That's
although I
good.
do know for a lot of people it has been debilitating.
Oh
but
my gosh.
so yeah, I guess I got lucky, but I haven't powerlifted since. Not because I can't. I've still deadlifted way over 400 pounds still, but just not in like a competitive nature.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was definitely the worst, just because it's a pain that is like, it's like chronic pain is different. A lot of people don't know what chronic pain is,
Yeah.
but chronic means
Always.
like always. Like it's just you're always in pain, and that's what it is.
Oh, that's horrible.
So yeah, it's not like shooting pain all the time or anything
It's
like
just
that.
always
It's just
there.
imagine always being annoyed or always having a headache. That's what it's like.
Yikes.
Yeah, but yeah, that's probably the worst for me.
Best?
The best medical, my favorite medical problem to experience. Yeah, I got a headache the other day. That was cool.
It
I
was so
guess.
lit.
Yeah. No.
Okay, I was trying to think, and I was like, nothing's the best.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the one I could get the most cozy with is whenever I'm just having cramps. While they suck, it means that I could just go like lay in bed with my heating pad and watch TV.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, that's the only good part is the way for me to treat cramps means go get comfy in bed. But I'm also being unrealistic because I don't have them right now. It hurts real bad. And when it's happening, I'd rather not be laying in bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't got my wisdom teeth out, so I don't have like a high not working experience that was like super cool.
Hmm.
I've just never had any really good ones.
Yeah. I don't know what would be a good
Top
one.
5 favorite.
I was like, I don't know what would be a good one, but
A very mild cold.
yeah, I guess so. There was this funny story. Whenever I was a kid, one time I got a stomach flu, and I felt so incredibly bad after. I still feel bad to this day, and it's been like 15 years since then. But I was on the couch and like sick, and my mom came back with like this medicine. It was pretty much like, for anyone that knows, it was like the twist top Kool-Aids that you used to buy back in the day.
Okay.
But it wasn't that. It was actually medicine in those bottles. And
Deceiving.
it was for upset stomachs.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I was supposed to drink like one a day or something like that. I crushed all 6 of them
Robert.
the same day.
Robert.
And my mom was furious because they're expensive. And so I was like, yeah, I was just like sad. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know, but apparently I just like screwed my mom out of like a bunch of money. But
Were you just chilling though?
yeah, that was probably the best one because I was pretty sick, but I felt pretty good because I just crushed a bunch of
Were
this
you like weirdly
juice.
high as a child?
Nah,
Drinking all this juice?
no, it was just for upset stomach, so I wasn't
Oh.
like medicated heavily or
You're
anything
just
like that.
drinking a bunch of juice. You're like, this is nice.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool.
It was always kind of nice being a kid whenever I'd feel sick, and I would like sometimes my mom would take me to work with her, which is crazy
Yeah,
that they would let her do that. But sometimes, like, I remember just being home and watching Scooby Doo on TV.
yeah. Also, during that same sickness, kids are so foolish sometimes that instead of like getting up to go throw up in the bathroom or something,
Did you have the pot?
I just laid on the couch and threw up on myself. Yeah, just the easily the dumbest thing. Like I just was not thinking.
I thought you were gonna say you had a pot. This is so much worse.
No, after the fact. My mom was going to get the pot when I threw up on myself. That's how dumb I was. I couldn't get up and go to her.
Wait, can I share something that was similar vein kind of that? Whenever I was like 6, I got a UTI and it hurts when you pee. And I remember my mom was in the bathroom trying to just like comfort me while I was trying to pee. And I lifted up my leg and I just like peed straight out. And I think I peed on her.
What's wrong with you, dude?
I was
That's
like a
so gross.
child. Also, one more for the road.
Okay, infinite story time.
When I was a baby, my older brother was holding me and he was like 13. He was lifting me above his face and smiling, and we were laughing. And I threw up in his mouth.
How would you know this?
He told me. He tells me it sometimes.
Okay.
I don't remember. No, I was actually 10. Just
Either
threw up in his
way,
mouth.
hopefully.
That was my favorite medical condition.
Yeah, hopefully you made it through this part of the podcast. It was pretty
Sorry
disgusting.
for being gross.
Yeah, all of Michelle's stories are disgusting.
Honestly, stop by the stream sometime. We talk about worse.
Yeah, she is a foul creature in every regard. So if you enjoyed the podcast, thanks for sticking around so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully you did enjoy it, and make sure to catch us on some of our socials.
Yeah, so our Twitter is Bunebapeosrs. And also our TikTok has Bunebapeosrs if you want to go follow. If you want to be the lucky 10th follower. We have an Instagram, which is just Bunebape, and I stream 5 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. More like 35 hours a week now, so come stop by. I am doing a lot of raids, so you can come raid with me if you want. And ask me the Bunebape lore. Everyone knows about it on stream. So
Yeah.
if you don't know, Robert won't let me say it on stream. But you'll have to come stop by.
But thanks everyone for listening, and hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll also see you all
Very soon. Bye-bye. Meet Merp.